What if I told you that the single most effective action you could take today to prevent a fall, an action more impactful than any balance gadget, grip sock, or bathroom handrail, is not something you buy, install, or even a new exercise routine? The answer is far simpler. It is a fundamental shift in how you walk. Just one small, specific adjustment to a movement you have performed your entire life, and one you have likely been doing incorrectly for years without realizing it. After 26 years of working with adults over 70 as a physical therapist, I have witnessed this pattern countless times. A person comes into my clinic after a fall, feeling confused and embarrassed. They often say, "I was just walking across the kitchen. I wasn't doing anything unusual." And they are absolutely right. They weren't doing anything unusual. That precisely is the problem. The way they walk every single day has quietly become dangerous, and no one ever told them. Today, I am going to change that for you. I will reveal what is most likely happening in your walk right now, why it is putting you at serious risk, and the one simple change that can begin protecting you immediately, starting with your very next step. No special equipment, no gym membership, just a single adjustment that could genuinely save your life. Let me describe a scenario to you, and I encourage you to consider honestly if it sounds familiar. Imagine someone walking down a hallway. Their steps are short, noticeably shorter than they used to be. Their feet barely lift from the ground with each stride, sliding forward in a low, shuffling motion rather than pushing off cleanly. Their upper body leans slightly forward, their gaze is tilted down towards the floor, and their arms hardly swing at their sides. They move carefully, deliberately, because subconsciously, they sense that the floor feels less trustworthy than it once did. This is known as a shuffle gait, and it is one of the most common walking patterns I observe in adults over 70. It develops so gradually that most people do not even notice it happening. What begins as a little caution after a near fall slowly becomes a habit. Steps shorten, feet stop lifting, posture shifts forward. And what feels like careful, safe walking is, in reality, one of the highest risk movement patterns your body can adopt. Here is why. When your feet shuffle close to the ground, any irregularity on that surface, a rug edge, a slight rise in the flooring, a crack in the sidewalk, becomes an instant trip hazard. There is simply not enough clearance between your foot and the floor for anything to go wrong without it going very wrong. Moreover, because your steps are short and your weight is already pitched forward, the moment your toe catches something, your body has no time or space to recover. The fall happens before you even realize you are losing your balance. Shuffle gait also signals something deeper. The muscles responsible for lifting your legs, such as your hip flexors, glutes, and core, have weakened from underuse. Furthermore, the neurological connection between your brain and your legs has slowed down. The good news is that both of these issues are reversible, and it all begins with one crucial change. The change I want you to make is this. From this moment forward, every step you take should begin with your heel. This is called a heel strike, and it is how human beings are biomechanically designed to walk. When you are young, and your gait is natural and uninhibited, your heel hits the ground first with each step. Your weight then rolls forward through the arch of your foot, across the ball, and pushes off through your toes to propel the next step. It is a smooth, continuous rolling motion, representing one of the most efficient and stable movement patterns the human body produces. However, here is what happens over time. As muscles weaken and confidence in our balance quietly erodes, that essential heel strike disappears. The foot starts landing flat, or even toe first, in a pattern that is shorter, lower, and far less stable. We stop rolling through the foot. We stop pushing off. We start shuffling. And with every passing month of shuffling, the muscles that produce a proper heel strike grow weaker and weaker, because they are simply not being engaged. So, what does correcting this actually look like? It is simpler than you might think. With each step, I want you to reach your heel slightly forward, just a few centimeters more than you normally would, and let it make contact with the ground first. Feel the weight shift forward through your foot. Let your toes push off behind you as you step. And most importantly, lift your foot. Do not slide it. Pick it up, reach it forward, and land on the heel. When you do this correctly, several beneficial things happen simultaneously. Your step length naturally increases, which significantly improves your stability and forward momentum. Your foot clears the ground properly, eliminating the risk of catching on surface irregularities. Your posture automatically improves. The heel strike pulls your weight back and upright, away from that forward-leaning shuffle position. Crucially, your hip flexors, glutes, and core are suddenly being asked to work again, which immediately begins rebuilding the very strength that protects you from falls. One change, one adjustment, but it triggers a chain reaction throughout your entire body that starts working for you rather than against you with every single step. Now, let me show you 5 exercises that will make this new walking pattern feel natural, automatic, and strong. The first exercise is the conscious heel strike walk. Why it matters. Before anything else, you need to practice the heel strike itself. Slowly, deliberately, and with full awareness. Most people who have been shuffling for months or years have genuinely lost the motor pattern of a proper heel strike. The neural pathway that produces it has faded from disuse. This exercise rebuilds it by asking your brain and your legs to practice the movement correctly, repetition by repetition, until it starts to become automatic again. How to do it? Find a clear hallway or a long open space along a wall. Stand at one end, with one hand lightly touching the wall for safety if needed. Begin walking, but this time, think about nothing except your heel. With every single step, consciously reach your heel slightly forward and let it land first. Feel the contact. Feel your weight roll through the foot. Feel your toes push off. Take 10 steps forward this way. Turn carefully using small marching steps, and walk back 10 steps. That is 1 set. Complete 3 sets, resting for 30 seconds between each set. What to focus on? Slow down significantly for this exercise. Speed is the enemy of relearning. The slower you walk, the more conscious control you have over each step, and the stronger the neural signal you are sending to your brain. Think of this as reprogramming, not just walking. Progress tip. Once you feel comfortable with the heel strike on flat ground, try it on a slightly different surface, such as carpet versus hardwood. The slight variation forces your nervous system to adapt and generalize the pattern, which is exactly what you need for real-world safety. The second exercise is the high knee march. Why it matters. One of the most direct consequences of shuffle gait is that the hip flexors, the muscles responsible for lifting your leg with each step, become progressively weaker. When they are weak, your foot clearance drops. When foot clearance drops, every rug, every threshold, every uneven surface is a potential trip hazard. This exercise specifically targets those hip flexors and rebuilds the lifting reflex that keeps your feet safely above the ground with every stride. How to do it. Stand behind a sturdy chair with both hands resting lightly on the back for support. March in place, lifting your right knee towards your chest as high as you comfortably can, then lowering it back to the floor with control. Then lift the left knee. That constitutes 1 full repetition. Complete 15 repetitions on each side, totaling 30 lifts at a slow, deliberate pace. The lift should feel effortless. If it feels too easy, you are not lifting high enough. What to focus on. Stand tall throughout the exercise. Do not lean your upper body backward as your knee rises. Keep your torso upright. The lifting work should come entirely from your hip, not from momentum or body lean. Also, control the descent just as carefully as the lift. The lowering phase is equally important for building the eccentric strength your leg needs when your foot returns to the ground. Progress tip. As this becomes easier, practice the march while moving forward slowly through your hallway, lifting each knee before stepping, then placing your heel down first. You are now combining this exercise directly with the conscious heel strike walk, which is the closest simulation of proper walking you can train at home. The third exercise is the stride length walk. Why it matters. Shuffle gait shortens your stride dramatically, often to half or less of what it was in younger years. A short stride is an unstable stride. It reduces your momentum, disrupts your balance rhythm, and forces your center of gravity into an awkward, forward-pitched position. This exercise gently challenges you to extend your stride length back towards a safer, more stable range, rebuilding the confidence and muscle memory that a proper walking gait requires. How to do it? Place 2 pieces of tape on the floor of your hallway, approximately 45 centimeters apart. This will be your target stride length. Stand at one end, take a step forward, and aim to land your heel at or just beyond the second piece of tape. Then, step with your other foot, landing the heel at the same distance. Walk the length of the hallway this way, completing 10 full strides, then turn and return. Complete 2 full lengths of the hallway, focusing entirely on step length and heel contact. What to focus on? Do not lunge or overreach. The goal is a comfortable, natural extension of your stride, not a dramatic exaggeration. If 45 centimeters feels too far, start with 30 centimeters. The precise distance matters less than the habit of reaching that heel forward with intention on every step. Progress tip. Over time, move the tape markers slightly further apart, perhaps 1 centimeter at a time, to progressively challenge your stride length. Most people are surprised by how quickly their stride naturally lengthens once they begin training it consciously. The fourth exercise is the slow motion walk. Why it matters. Speed is often where proper walking mechanics break down. When we walk fast or even at our normal everyday pace, we tend to rely on habit and momentum rather than conscious muscle control. For someone rebuilding a walking pattern, speed is the enemy. The slow motion walk removes speed from the equation entirely, forcing every muscle involved in walking to work independently and with full control. It is one of the most powerful neurological training tools available for relearning safe movement. How to do it? Stand at one end of your hallway. Begin walking at the slowest pace you can physically manage, so slow that each step takes a full 3 to 4 seconds to complete. Lift your foot, pause briefly in the air, reach the heel forward, lower it to the floor, feel the weight shift, push off with the toes, and then begin the next step. Walk the full length of the hallway in this slow motion style. Turn carefully and return. That is 1 set. Complete 2 sets. What to focus on? This will feel strange. Slow motion walking is genuinely difficult because it removes all the shortcuts that habitual movement relies on. Every wobble you feel is your balance system being trained. Every correction your ankle makes is your nervous system rebuilding its responsiveness. Embrace the difficulty. It is the whole point. Progress tip. Try closing your eyes for 2 or 3 slow motion steps once you feel steady near the wall. This dramatically increases the proprioceptive challenge and accelerates the neurological adaptation you are building. The fifth exercise is the obstacle step over. Why it matters. The controlled environment of a hallway is a starting point, but real life is full of obstacles. Rugs, door thresholds, pet toys, electrical cords, garden hoses, every one of these is a potential trip hazard for someone with shuffle gait and low foot clearance. This exercise trains your brain and your legs to detect an obstacle, lift the foot high enough to clear it, and land safely on the other side. This is the exact sequence your body needs to execute in a fraction of a second when real life presents the same challenge. How to do it. Place a pool noodle, a rolled-up towel, or a similarly soft, lightweight object on the floor of your hallway. It should be approximately 10 to 15 centimeters high. Stand a few feet back from the obstacle with a wall or chair within reach for support. Walk toward the obstacle at a normal, controlled pace. When you reach it, lift your right foot deliberately, high enough to clear the obstacle with room to spare, and step over. Then lift your left foot and clear the obstacle completely. Continue walking a few steps beyond it, turn carefully, and return, stepping over the obstacle again. Complete 5 passes in each direction, for a total of 10 step-overs. What to focus on? Do not rush as you approach the obstacle. Slow down slightly as you get close. Pick your foot up early, well before you reach the object, and make a conscious, confident step. The goal is to train your brain to recognize an obstacle, respond in advance, and execute the clearance with control rather than panic. Progress tip. Once this feels easy, try varying the height of the obstacle. Slightly higher one week, a different texture the next. You can also practice stepping over it while carrying something light in one hand, which is a more accurate simulation of how real-life trips tend to happen. Important safety warning. Before you begin practicing any of these exercises, I need you to take this seriously, because your safety is paramount. If you have recently had a hip or knee replacement, are being treated for plantar fasciitis, or any heel condition, or have been advised by your doctor to avoid weight-bearing exercise, please speak with your physician or physical therapist before attempting these movements. Some exercises may need to be modified for your specific situation. Always practice near a wall, countertop, or sturdy chair for support. Never rush these exercises. Wear non-slip footwear or go barefoot on a safe surface. And if at any point you feel sharp pain, dizziness, or anything that does not feel right, stop immediately. There is no movement here worth risking your safety over. Progress at your own pace and trust your body to tell you when it is ready for more. Over the last several minutes, you have learned how a simple change to your walking pattern combined with targeted exercises, can dramatically reduce your risk of falling. By re-establishing a proper heel strike and consistently practicing these movements, you are rebuilding the strength, coordination, and neurological pathways that keep you stable and upright. Each exercise in this routine builds on the one before it, exactly as the body prefers to heal and adapt. The conscious heel strike walk re-establishes the fundamental movement. The high knee march strengthens the lifting muscles. The stride length walk restores natural momentum. The slow motion walk hones precise control and balance. And the obstacle step over prepares you for the unpredictable challenges of everyday life. When these exercises are practiced consistently, not perfectly, but consistently, the changes are real and they are lasting. The uncertainty in your steps begins to ease. The heavy, disconnected feeling in your feet gives way to something that feels more like solid ground again. Your balance improves not through intensity, but through patience and repetition. Small, intentional movements, done daily, send a clearer message to the nervous system than aggressive workouts done once a week. The body responds to what it is reminded of every day, and these exercises are that daily reminder. The long-term benefit reaches far beyond physical comfort. Healthy walking mechanics and strong leg function protect your balance. They reduce the fear of falling that quietly steals confidence from so many older adults. They preserve the ability to walk to your mailbox, climb your own stairs, play with your grandchildren, and move through daily life without constantly wondering whether your legs will hold you. That kind of independence is not a small thing. It is everything. Aging does not mean surrendering control over how your body feels. It means learning which movements your body truly needs at this stage of life, and choosing them every day with care and intention. These exercises are that choice. Simple, safe, and powerful in ways that add up over weeks and months. Now, I would love to hear from you. Have you noticed changes in your walking pattern over time, or experienced any close calls with falls? Share your experience in the comments below, along with your age and where you are watching from. Your insights might be exactly what another viewer needs to hear today. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.